and OK Boomer, Gallop faster, Suno, and Matt Urmy has an axe to grind. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by humans living in fragile equilibrium with AI, and brought to you by Nodisk, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry, and partnered with Digital Music News. It's August 18th, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Tech Tuesday. But before we geek out, every time I hear the phrase OK Boomer, I kind of get it, but I also kind of feel a little conflicted because, see, I'm not a boomer, I'm more of an Xer, and I grew up in the shadow of baby boomers. Arguably, I'm still there. The thing is, when a millennial or a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha says, OK Boomer, they're basically associating the baby boom generation with a certain orange menace, which makes me extremely sad, maybe almost as angry as the millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen Alphas who are using that phrase, and in fact, sometimes I use it ironically myself. But still, it sticks in my craw a little bit, and that's because of people like Dave Marsh. Dave Marsh passed away last week at the age of 76. Dave Marsh, back in the era of print and Rolling Stone and actual newsletters that went out on paper, was probably the preeminent national rock critic in America. Dave Marsh was a huge booster of Bruce Springsteen. He was an original contributor and editor over at the legendary Cream magazine, and he was also what we call today a social justice warrior. That was a good thing. That's what boomers were to me back in the day. Dave Marsh was also everywhere. His byline was all over Rolling Stone. It was all over just about anywhere you would read music criticism. He was opinionated. I didn't always agree with him, but he was a true champion of the working class and a true champion of all of the kinds of ideals that so many boomers have betrayed. Dave, by all reports, was also a great mentor to people. I met him once or twice. I was always too intimidated by his body of work and his very strong opinions to really speak up much. That was a mistake, apparently. Anyway, in a time when music journalism is currently being gutted, they're not making enough Dave Marshes in the world. Rest in peace, Dave Marsh. Thanks for all the writing. Thanks for all the influence. You were a better than OK Boomer. Okay, now let's geek out. Dave Marsh would probably be one of the first people to point out that when a famously can-do Silicon Valley founder and entrepreneur tells you that a problem can't be solved, it's not because they truly believe it, because they believe every problem can be solved. It's because they really don't want to solve the problem. Well, some credit to Anthropic and their CEO, Dario Amodei, who may still turn out to be a Bond villain, but does tend to say the right things about safety and AI. Anthropic is rolling out watermarks for Claude-generated text. Yes, I know what you're saying. Every algorithm can be cracked, and that's true, but not everybody finds it that easy to crack an algorithm or even cares to. Otherwise, there would be no advertising on the internet. But I digress. Last week, Claude announced that it would be rolling out a watermarking feature, and over at TechCrunch, Anthony Ha reported on how they're gonna do it. It's kind of ingenious, and it will be, by the appearances, more than just a speed bump for weak thinkers and bad writers, so good on ya, Anthropic. Suno's thundering hordes of litigators have either earned their keep or earned a vacation this week, as two of its outstanding lawsuits that we've talked about before on the pod, the one filed by the group American Dollar and the one filed by Jamendo, have been dismissed. On the face of it, it looks like the motivations for the voluntary dismissals were a little bit different. Nobody's talking on either side, but it sure does look like the American Dollar guys took a settlement and decided to back off. As for Jamendo, it looks like they aren't necessarily backing off, maybe just switching tactics. Their lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice, which means that they can continue legal action under other auspices, and I imagine that means they'll be joining a larger class action suit against Suno rather than dropping things altogether. It's been a fairly impressive run for Suno of late, knocking down those lawsuits and getting the licenses one by one. But wait, what's this? Here comes Round Hill Publishing. This morning, Dylan Smith is reporting over at Digital Music News that Round Hill has launched its own suit against Suno. And, oh wait, Anthropic. Maybe I spoke too soon about them doing the right thing. Is it possible they got wind of those sweet, sweet American dollar, American settlement dollars and said, I want me some of these? Well, regardless, Suno's thundering hordes of litigators are going to have to gallop faster and get these suits settled if they're going to want to compete with Chinese AI. Unlike Chinese democracy, Chinese AI is not a Guns N' Roses album, nor is it a fictional construct. No, Chinese AI is very much the real deal, and it's very much aimed at disrupting American AI and hoarding American AI dollars. How do you say Suno in Chinese? Happy Shrimp. Happy Shrimp may sound like an order at Panda Express or a SpongeBob ripoff, but it's actually Alibaba's new generative AI music platform, undoubtedly built on scraped and unlicensed music training data, sorta like Suno, with a little extra help from the massive tech giant Alibaba and undoubtedly the Chinese Communist Party. Is Happy Shrimp a worthy replacement for Suno, or is it just Temu Suno? Well, it's a little early to tell, but either way, it means Suno is going to have to gallop a little faster and continue with a whip hand on its thundering hordes of litigators. Foster Wong had the story over at Bloomberg. Hat tip to Jim Player of the Year Turner for the tip-off. And we're visited by a first-time axe grinder this week. I first met Matt Urmy almost a decade ago when I was at Pandora, and he was setting out to build a dashboard for artist growth called Artist Growth. Before that, he was an artist and a performer, so he comes by his music tech background honestly in the old-fashioned way from the music side. Artist Growth has been operating since 2012 and works with organizations from independent artist managers to the global major labels and everybody in between. It provides an AI-enabled roster management platform that's built specifically for music and entertainment with a deep focus on customization and for data security, the latter of which is Matt's axe to grind. Take it away, Matt Urmy.
My name is Matt Urmy, and my axe to grind is the way people only halfway deal with data security when it comes to their operation. In the era of AI, controls that you have around who and what can access your data and the ability to grant or deny those permissions is everything. I see it time and time again, and why this is an issue is that, as everyone knows, music and entertainment is a deeply collaborative ecosystem of organizations. Oftentimes, teams only consider the security of their data within their own organizations and don't extend their strategic thinking into how they interact with the world at large, locking themselves into older collaboration paradigms of emails and exports, neither of which are truly secure. And when you enter the era of AI that can burn through data in milliseconds, making sure it only has access to the right data is even more important. And so some examples of this would be, you have labels and managers and agents and publishers all supposedly collaborating to help the artists grow their business. But until you consider the context around permissions and data access, you can't really solve some of the core inefficiencies that exist. It's a highly logistical industry, and the tools that people use historically are not designed for this specific context. And so the winners will be the organizations that take time to consider the true scope of their workflow as it relates to internal and external collaboration with their artists' data. They'll be able to innovate, move faster, whereas the companies that opt for the same old thinking and the same old tools that don't have industry-tailored security models, they'll be stuck. And I think the solution literally begins like the solution to most problems. It's take the time to map out the full context of how data moves in, around, and out of your organization when it comes to the logistics and the tactics of the collaboration you have with the artist's wider orbit. Then you look for systems that understand the dynamics and have purpose-built models to handle it. Going with the same old thinking, same old tool set, that's how music will continually get put on their heels when it comes to technology and innovation. And when I say the same old tools, I'm talking about these sort of big box technology companies that have been around a long time. Everybody knows their names. Tools like Asana, tools like Monday.com, tools like Airtable, tools that are built to serve business across any industry in the world. And their model is to scale and serve as many businesses as possible. Those tools come with a very limited set of security models around access permissions and the way you can design a team internally and externally and how you can collaborate in those systems around specific data. They don't allow you to manage data at the field level. And that's a little technical, but that's what it is. It's general. And so this doesn't work for music. And so tools that are building purposefully for music and entertainment Those are the ones that are going to take the time to niche down and understand the context of how everyone relates to each other and give you the finer, more granular controls. And I think anyone in this industry who's searching for solutions to help them operate more efficiently and do more for their artists, they need to be asking the questions of every vendor that they talk to. Tell me about your security model. Tell me about the kinds of collaboration and the control that you will unlock for me. And if you're not having that conversation, if it's just about the features, then you're missing the whole boat. Because in the era of AI, data security and the control around what and who can see it is everything. My name is Matt Urmy, and that's my axe to grind.
Thank you, Matt. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners. If you want to join the few, the proud, the elite supporters of Unlimited Supply and receive your Unlimited Supply trucker hat as a symbol of your sophistication, there's a link in the show notes and on our website. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement, but it really helps if you share that praise as a rating and or a review and or a follow on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or better yet, Substack. And tell a friend or three. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.